Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? And today we're going to be going over the ESPN Invitational, a recap of the playoffs, everything that happened. So yeah, as always, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is the best way to support the channel, as well as leaving a like. So thank you guys all who do. And yeah, let's get right into the video. So yeah, I mean this bracket went almost completely as expected. There weren't really any upsets. There wasn't really anything that happened that really made you say wow in terms of like upsets. It was pretty much standard. But yeah, let's hop right into the first match of NRG Esports versus Alpine Esports. And I mean, what more is there to say about this? I called it the other day. NRG just are the better team. Instead of recapping everything that happened during this game, I thought that something that usually I don't do that might be fun to do would be to show a clip that kind of sums up the gist of the game. So I'm about to show you a clip and kind of go over it with you guys. Alright guys, so here's the play that I wanted to talk about. I have it at 0.5 speed, so as you can see right here, NRG, just a ton of space. I mean, it's a ton of space to work with. Squishy Muffins, 100 boost. Everyone on Alpine has to retreat. NRG just so good at giving themselves space. Squishy's up in the air. Magic Bear, now, to be fair, what can Magic Bear do in this position? And to be honest, there really isn't that much he can do, because he is the first man. Squishy Muffins has full control, 100 boost. He sees Magic Bear's going for the ball. Squishy just hits it off the ceiling to get it around Magic Bear. But now, Squishy still has control of this ball. 50-50's Percy, and lets Justin take full control while Justin has full boost. And nobody pressures Justin, okay? Jordan and Magic Bear are both right next to each other, bumping each other in net. And this struggle on defense because of NRG's speed, their passing plays to each other are just what Alpine had to deal with this whole time. And now look, Justin can do whatever he wants. Nobody pressures him. He just fakes it, goes under, pops the top shelf. Nothing Alpine can do if they're waiting on their goal line. And I want to say that this kind of sums up the game if we watch this replay in slow motion, because NRG were just left with a ton of midfield space, a ton of space to work with, to pass. None of these were getting cut off at times, and I think that was Alpine's biggest problem, just understanding where the pass was going to come from and how to cut that off, stop that passing play. So yeah, that really sums up the game. Just NRG with a ton of pressure. Alpine weren't really able to get a lot going, wasn't able to do a ton, unfortunately. But yeah, that's to be expected. NRG, just such a solid team. And yeah, let's move on to the next game. SSG versus Rat Enterprises. At first in their game, Rat Enterprises had some pretty good passing plays. They were finding each other in the midfield. They're just forcing Space Station in some awkward spots by just having good speed to the ball. And then all that changed game 2 when Arsenal stepped it up. Now Arsenal was my favorite player on the field during this series. I mean, he was scoring, and when he wasn't scoring, he was getting key demos to open up a ton of space. I mean, I saw Arsenal go for like a mid-air bump at one point. I mean, he was just nuts. It seemed like every time Arsenal did something, it was a key play for Space Station. Okay, I think he was just instrumental in their success. I'm really loving what I saw from Arsenal. Really liked what I saw. And then in terms of how Rat Enterprises played, I think all the players on that team are really good and have potential. I think that maybe they just need to play with each other for, a little bit longer. They just formed the team, obviously. I think it'll take a little bit before they're up to 100%. So I'd say give them a little bit of time before we truly judge how this team's going to play. And yeah, let's hop right on to the next match of the semifinals, or I guess the first match of the semifinals. We're going to be talking about NRG versus Team Envy. Now, this is going to be a really interesting matchup because the only team that had beat NRG this offseason, well, with this new NRG roster with Squishy Muffins, was Team Envy. When Team Envy beat them in one of the past community tournaments, it was a really big thing. They won. But, I mean, Team Envy did not play the same that they did against that one matchup against NRG. I mean, NRG were just on a completely different level this game. I'll be honest, it was a slaughter. You know, the problem with Envy was just that they were too slow. I mean, they're straight up NRG beat them to everything. Envy were too slow to reads off the wall, the backboard plays, midfield interceptions. They just straight up were not fast enough, and that's what the game came down to. I mean, if you just watch, every time Envy got scored on, it's because one of their team members were just beat to the ball. Multiple members on their team were just straight up beat to the ball in certain situations. You know, NRG, one of the fastest teams in the world, up there with like Oxygen, just for raw speed. Some of the fastest. Really, really hard to counter a team that's faster than you. And yeah, NRG take the dub. And then we move down to Rogue versus Space Station Gaming. And Rogue fans, I hope you are happy. Okay, I called this. I said that if I bet on Space Station, Rogue is going to win because Rogue does the opposite of what I predict. It's always been like that. Last time I guessed Rogue, Space Station won. So this time I guess Space Station and Rogue won. It just seems to be the pattern. And to be fair, it was kind of a sloppy games on both teams' parts. There were points when both teams actually owned gold. You know, I thought it was still a fun game to watch. You know, I like watching the pros mess up because it makes me feel like I'm not that bad when I see that the pros actually mess up. But then at the same time, when we're talking about these own goals, they probably shouldn't have happened in the first place. And you know, the game really just came down to who made the least amount of mistakes. You know, there were a lot of goals that went in that, you know, you just stopped and thought to yourself, wait, how did that even go in? You know, like a long shot from the back corner that just went all the way across the field, just slid right in. You think, okay, that definitely should have been a save. Or a weird own goal where it like bounced off the corner and then into one of the defenders and then bounced in. It was just such a funny game, I guess I would say. You know, just a lot of awkward things happened in that game, but you know, it was still fun to watch. Rogue definitely made the least amount of mistakes. In fact, they did really step it up. You know, Rogue actually ended up taking a page out of SSG's gameplay, and you know, they started going for bumps and started getting a lot of good demos in early on. But again, Arsenal was definitely my favorite player on SSG. Well, for the first half of the series anyways, towards the end, I really started to love what I saw from Reddles. I thought that he was a bit more making some of the more key plays, you know, towards the latter half of the series. But you know, I really liked how SSG played when they weren't making those mistakes. It's just Rogue played that a little bit better. And yeah, and then Rogue move on to face NRG in the grand finals. So let's talk about NRG versus Rogue, where the unfortunate part about this series was none of the games were really intense. And you know, this is just personally how I feel about it. You know, I just felt like it wasn't like that edge of your seat gameplay that, you know, we hope for a grand finals. You know, I guess I just didn't have that feeling of, oh my gosh, who's going to win the game? You know, it was more like, oh, these guys are probably going to win this specific game. Every single game had a clear winner except the last one. You know, the last one was overtime. Even the second to last one, NRG had the lead for most of the game. They had a 2-0 lead for most of the game, and I think Rogue scored in like the last minute or something. I think Rogue did play well when they were on, but when they were on, it was when First Killer was on. Okay, they played well when First Killer was really popping off. It took Rogue a little bit to get some goals going, but at the end, they took 2 games off of NRG, which is still really good. I mean, nobody in the tournament honestly took more than 1 game off NRG. Well, at least in the playoffs. You know, we saw Plot Twist take a couple games off of them in the group stages, but other than that, man, it was really easy to tell who was gonna take it from the beginning of the game, which made it a little less intense, which, you know, kind of sucks. You want an intense grand finals. You know, the very last game was an overtime, 2 minutes of overtime to be exact. But now let's talk about the best teams, the best team in the world, or the best team in North America for that matter, and it's NRG. We won't know who the best teams in the world are until RLCS, obviously, which is happening soon this week, baby. I'm very happy for RLCS to come back. Make sure you guys stick around for RLCS as well. I'm gonna have to do a power rankings video, and I'm gonna do a power rankings video just going over who I think all the best teams are. So obviously, I think it's undisputed NRG is the best team in North America. Either Vitality or Oxygen for Europe, but the one team that I just don't know what to do with is G2. If I were to rank them based off of off-season performance, I mean, they'd be dead last probably, but if I were to rank them based on what I truly thought that how they were gonna play during RLCS, because as we know in the past, they always step it up during RLCS. What would they go, like 5th? have no clue. I mean, it just is really hard to rank G2 because, you know, I don't think anybody believes that they are a bottom team in North America. However, from their offseason performance, they haven't been playing the very best. And then on top of G2's inconsistencies, we have all these teams that just formed, and it's so hard to accurately rate how a new team is going to play because, as we see with Rat Enterprises, it looks to me like they still need to figure some stuff out with each other, you know, get that chemistry going, which I believe that they will. But do I rank them towards the bottom right now? Do I rank them how I think they're going to be playing? It's just so hard with some of these newly formed teams. Yeah, the only thing I know for sure right now is that NRG is number one. As to where I'm going to put everyone else for a power rankings video, no, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to think about how I want to do that. So, yeah, but definitely stay tuned for that. Yeah, that is basically everything. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.